I've got a present for you.
Right, so on the right hand side we have Zedd playing as Soviet. On the left hand side we have Rick playing as Allied, and we have a best of 13. Just checking my audio. Yeah, so what do we know about the two players? Rick, obviously, we know quite a bit about. We've seen Rick on the stream a fair amount, and Zedd also, someone that we've seen play a fair amount as well. Most people in the community know both these players pretty well. Maybe even more so Zedd as well. Obviously plays Blitz, Yuri's Revenge, and a little bit of Vanilla, I believe, as well. Rick has traditionally been a Soviet player for most of the time that I've sort of known Rick, but over the last sort of, I guess, few weeks since Rick sort of plays for a few weeks intensely and then takes a short break, and that sort of often seems to sort of the theme with Rick, but being around in the community for a while. But this time coming back playing as Allied, I think he's really enjoying his Allied. Probably like a lot of Allied players, his only frustration is when he meets a Yuri player in QM. Can be very difficult. Zedd playing Iraq. I think Zedd is his best faction is Yuri, but I think not part of the agreement, but I think Rick was a bit hesitant to come and play in here against a Yuri player, him wanting to play Allied. Said he would, but he'd play Soviet, but I think between the two of them, they've come to this sort of, Rick will play Allied and Zedd will play maybe some Sov, or he'll match him and play some Allied as well. So we see this seal out. Let's get the wolf rating. Might adjust my audio after. Okay, so on the back of this we have a 1, 2, 3, 4 miners on the bottom spot. On the left hand side we have 2 miners also, so we have a total of 6 miners, keeping the 2 refs there as well, which is nice. Helps to stop the miners bugging, and it looks like Rick is really going to push their miners with that early advantage of taking down that war factory. His opponent is on 3 miners for 5. So as we have another count up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Flat coming in, May. I think they could possibly have an energy in, but not the case. Double war factory now for Zedd. Going to send 1 miner to long distance over to the gems. Rocky comes over. Interesting. Rocky goes straight down. No issue at all. So now we do see the Mirages are going to come out as well. There's Rick with the Battle Lab. But nice. Taking that war factory down just gives him a breather, gives him a chance, stops any Soviet early pressure, allows him to get his lab and get himself into the game. And as an Allied player, once you get that lab up, do you feel that a little bit more comfortable, especially if you've not lost anything early, or haven't lost miners, or been pressured, or got yourself behind. Rick with a really nice opening here. 3 Mirages, 4 Mirages now out with 3 Grizzlies. Good dogs at the front there. Can take this fight here. Yeah. Gonna push back. Now the extra. Looking for a distraction. We shall keep an eye on this. Not sure what it was. I think it might be a spy. Didn't hear the click of the seal all the time yet. Still aware of where it is on the map. It's coming down to the right hand side where the power drop is as well. We shall see if there's anything on there to test it. Coming across the ore now as we see. There's the war factory. It hasn't undeployed. Oh, that's big. Now he must land it. Undeployed, I think with Zedd calls low. Yeah, there we go. And there's Mirages coming out as vets. And, lovely power drop as well. Double power drop from the side as well. Really, really nice. Minor AFK. Radar comes out. Desperately needs them Desos. Sentry's trying to come out to help. He can't go up here. He cannot go up here, really. Oh, he's hitting them sentries big. If he wasn't hitting them sentries, I think Rick would have won that. Rick would have won that very comfortably. And instead, it was still just about win this fight, I believe. But both players coming out were more or less nothing. But yeah, that could have been a lot worse for Zedd. Could have been a lot worse. And Mirages that are vets have been pumping. The only consolation for the Soviet player when this happens, it does give you an opportunity to get elite rhinos. Obviously taking down them vets. Still has this IV not doing anything. Could maybe bring that back to base and reuse it. Or Harriers coming over. Does just take down both the flaks. Nice. Could have maybe went for the battle lab, but I don't think he would have got past them flaks and would have lost all of them. Instead, keeps them alive. And it is the IC and Desos is the way that Zedd is going to try to win this game. Push on the right hand side, then we get the miner. Let's get a miner. GIs are nice in there as well. Mirages are in them trees as well. Really not a fight that Zedd is going to be too confident on. Tanya comes out. A little bit of chip damage from them GIs as well. A nice opening from Rick. He'll gain a lot of confidence from this opening game. This is a game that most people would favour probably Zedd as an early prediction. If you're putting a wager on it, I think Zedd would be the more steadier bet. Does take the battle lab down to no full shield. We do have a Tanya on the field, which is to our left hand side. Tanya is coming. He's going to come straight down the middle here. Could be caught out of position. IC open though. IC completely open. Does get the IC. IC goes down, but his base is so exposed and he's out of position here. Rick's going to kick himself if he gets caught. Let's have Mirages that are coming in. Reinforcements are coming. May lose the lab, but should be okay. Shouldn't be. There we go. I'm going to force him back, and in fact, that's really nice in the end. Didn't lose the lab. Forces the rhinos back, and while that happened, I'm busy with the Tanya. 1, 2, 3 war factories now. See the war factory on the right hand side going down. Mirages pushing back these rhinos. Vet Mirages. Very, very scary. Gonna need a desert bomb. Gonna circle back around. See the oil purifier is out. 5.5k for Rick. His eco is there's no issue whatsoever. Needs to get up to the left hand side to defend. Coming back again. Mirage's attack and moving as well. Nice prism as well. Does get the elite. Now needs to make sure he gets rid of that elite. Does have an elite Mirage as well, but as I said, one of the only conditions about having Mirages that are vets coming out against the rhinos, you will get random sort of elites coming out. Deso bombing here surely. Does pop it, no joy whatsoever, gets away from that. And power drop on the right hand side. There is Desos there as well, so shouldn't be an issue. Wouldn't mind maybe seeing Rick mix a few Grizzlies in with his armor now. Going to move the MCV to the middle, that's nice as well. This could really go down and just take care of that battle lab, that would be juicy. And that IC coming out, he could have avoided that if he's frustrated there. But he's doing so much right anyway that unless Rick really does make a throw here, he should be no issue whatsoever. Just be careful with the Desos. I think I'd like to see Rick go for a Chrono as well, and then could just Chrono some BFs in his opponent's base, especially with them already being vets. But yeah, definitely like to see some Grizzlies now, maybe mixed in with this army. Predictions are still there, chat. We'll get them last few votes in. Looking good though for Rick. Good opening game. Needs to be careful of these sentries. Sentries will melt Mirages pretty quick. And Zedd just desperately wants this IC and just hopes that he can get himself back into this game with an IC, but he's all over the place. No MCV. I'm gonna try to push up on the right hand side. Still a bunker there. Gotta come straight to the middle with the IC. Okay, he's not gonna get the he's definitely not gonna get the IC taking that down. Raj is gonna clean up. This IC is not ready yet, and they're running in like the way they are. 3, 2, 1, it's ready now. But no joy. One Rhino left. Lol, GG called from Zedd. GG called. Rick here on the left hand side, it is Zedd on the right hand side. Zedd continuing with his Soviet, with Iraq, and Rick will continue with his allied in America. So Cold to Speak, obviously a map that can be played 2-player, and also can be played 4-player as well. Obviously with these 2 spots here as well, but it does allow us the mid to late game to go on. Can move these MCV around. We shall see Zedd that will move his MCV into here. Allows him to get onto them gems as well. May start with long distance and gems after he's finished these, but may wait until the MCV move. But yeah, same on this side up here. MCV will come in around this sort of area as well. Allows you for them gems. Welcome, Artie. Hope you're well, buddy. Yeah, it should be good. Yeah, should be good. I don't think Zedd's gonna opt for Yuri as well. He says in his message on Discord to myself that he doesn't need Yuri here, which will make it even more interesting. Rick obviously playing a lot of Allied recently, and Zedd playing a Soviet, which I don't think Zedd's favourite faction out of the 3 in Yuri's Revenge, although I might be wrong. But either way, it should be good. Rick takes the opening game, and Rick was able to land the seal early last time, and that put him into a really good position. Landed the seal on the War Factory, and then in the mid game got a spy in as well to the War Factory on Heck Freeze. And Rick was all over Zedd like a rush that last game, and really well played from Rick. Won that game from start to finish, really. But you see a flak come out, probably to counter the seal, to try and run it over. One of the things Rick's quite good at it as well, one of the things I've noticed playing against him, he doesn't waste these seals. If there's not an opportunity to go in, he won't just dive in anyway and just hope he gets lucky. He'll wait, he'll take his time. He'll come back to it. So 4 miners on the ore here, 1 miner left on the gems. I always like to see 2 miners on the gems. I like to get them nice and quick. And 2 miners there for Zedd. So 2 miners, 3, 4, 5, 1 long distance for the gems as well. Power drop comes in. It's a defensive power drop to start. Seal's not been moved yet. Double War Factory for Zedd, and now he moves his MCV. Here comes a seal. Got to force you and deploy. There's a sentry that comes up. If we keep the seal and IV goes down. Should force another sentry. He needs to be careful. He may not get over here in time. Could have maybe wrapped round into here. Oh my god. No way. Engagement here in the middle. Although it looks like Rick is a little bit behind here on the tank numbers. Even though the MCV's gone down, Zedd may look for a counterpunch here. The lab's out. And if I'm Zedd, I'm sending this down the field, which I think he's going to do. And this is going to be really scary for Rick to hold on, I think. Because can't use Rockies, there's 4 flaks. Defensive power drop. This is going to be hard. He needs to just keep spamming pillboxes here. Sentries. Zedd's control here. Nice prism. He goes here. He needs to get it here. There's 1. Gonna wrap round. That's the battle up in 2 War Factories. So even if he loses the MCV here, it's not the worst. Oh, he needs to be careful with this engagement. I don't think this has worked out well for Rick. I think Zedd has completely baited him here. And it does look like he's going to lose this. Needs to sell that. Doesn't want to give an elite away. 2 vets in there. And there's the elite. There is the elite that I spoke about. GGI's coming out. It's going to be an extremely hard hold, this. Here goes the elite. Making hard work of this though, Zedd. Making really hard work of it. GGI, Elite GGI is doing absolute wonders and forced to come out. If you can keep the lab alive, it'll take two war factories in a battle lab versus 2 war factories of the Soviet player. For sure, and this game is now finally poised. And there's GGIs on the field all over the place as well. Going back to mine now, Zedd. Left with 3 miners. 3 miners versus 4. And both players will be long distance and mining for a while. Rick needs 1 BF and he's good. Those miners acted as fodder was huge. Yeah, really was nice, wasn't it? And yeah, Zedd just baited him in, which worked. But yeah, I agree. If you can get a BF here with that elite GGI in, can he save this miner? No. He brings the GIs into here. Wants a BF, I think, as well. He's got an elite. Does he take the time out to build one? That's the thing. He's got a decent amount of Mirages here now, though. Mirages are pumping. But that elite GGI, the BF, could be nasty. Oh, where the miners ended up. Where the miners ended up. I don't think that's a misclick, surely. And he just needs to come back and defend here now, Rick. 3 miners versus 1. Don't think he even needs to be aggressive. He can just sit back here and just camp. Let his miners chrono. 2 miners versus 3, in fact. Thought Rick lost the game in here. Thought he lost it in there. But Zedd would be so frustrated with that seal as well. Blocking off these choke points here and here just allows for here and here, which you can just move the Mirages around and sit on the cliff. You could just sit on the cliff here. Another power drop there, beautiful power drop as well. Some people might be trying to throw a power drop into there and trying to take down a war factory, but Rick is going to shut these points off. And this is really hard for Zedd to make this work. I mean, this would be a throw now for Rick to lose from here. Still needs to be careful. But definitely, this is Black trying to come in. Not sure if it had anything in there. Yeah, it has an NG. And this stage in the game, anything like that goes. Zedd's got to try to find a way to get in here. But look at the trees. GGI's camping the barracks and a war factory and kind of the battle lab as well, almost there as well. He is gonna he is mining dirt. Both players are really broken. Zedd just quits. No GG just quits. NG, welcome, bro. Welcome, buddy. Hope you're well. Rick here on the left-hand side versus Zedd on the right-hand side. Yeah, Zedd continuing as Soviet and Rick continuing as Allied. So most people who know this map, which is most of the community will know that the Soviet player will have a nice double quick early war factory here to start with. I'd imagine we'll see Rick going for the Air Force down here, and using that seal as well to slow down the Soviet player. They're ready to send. I play Allied myself. It's just not a map that I do particularly too well on. Does make for some good games though. Born in West London but moved early. Oh, nice. I was South London the weekend for the football. Oddy, any initial thoughts on the new map for Blitz? So War Factory comes on the bottom. Uses a pillbox there as well. I'm trying to stop the scout with the GIs, but it doesn't look successful. Although maybe some parts that are not had the fortune of seeing.
Seal ready.
There's the seal. We'll see a Connie out. We'll likely see a bunker. Let's see what comes. Flak comes. Likes the flak for crushing the seal, although has not been successful so far. Just looking here at Rick's build. Pretty much how we expected. Let's have a look over to see how Zedd's doing. 3 plaques to come out to counter this. As we see the seal there. 4 flaks. Interesting, a lot of people go with the bunkers, but obviously the flaks can be used against Harriers and the Rockies as well. As I said, he won't waste this normally. I said that last time, and he pretty much did, but then he still managed to get the MCV, which was a mistake from Zedd for sure. Okay, here comes the seal. Forces the undeployed. Can he maybe get a... Oh, he doesn't move fast enough. Maybe could have got the ref. Doesn't force the MCV to be undeployed with the ref coming out. I think he could have maybe still grabbed this refinery here, which would have been quite nice, actually. Power drop comes in. Doesn't able to deploy it. Oh, he did... Didn't he, when I look at the map, and I just look at it with the naked eye, it looks like Yin Yang, but just the other way. From rather than being playing sideways, it's long ways, if that makes sense. It looks very similar to how Yin Yang is. You can see a lot of similarities for it. Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get away with my GI rushing this month. So battle ladder's up. Something that Rick likes his lab, likes his mirages. Desso's already coming out, so Zedd anticipating these mirages to be pumped out with the lab already up. Gonna move his MCV over. Normally C players traditionally will stretch, but Zedd just says I'm gonna move my MCV for now. Desso bomb being loaded. We're likely to see a spy here. There's a decent amount of rhinos here with the flaks as well acting as fodder. I think he needs to retrieve back up to here. Let's have a look. What's power drop on the bottom side, and with the spying coming. I think he lands that. The spy is really annoying because. Let's have a look. Let's see what the power drop goes down. Doesn't look like he landed it. He didn't. So he did set up a war factory. He just got there in time. That looked very close. It's really frustrating with a spy. It seems to just always get in, even though if you sell off the war factory. But it does leave him with 2 war factories. So yeah, it doesn't get the war factory. It costs him around sort of 1600 for that. But you know what? When you take down a war factory, it's not the worst. Although there is a vet grizzly there. There's a Desso bomb, yeah, so he did land it, The Grizzlies have been pumped, but there is just so many rhinos here. There's the Dessos. Doesn't need to deploy them, can just keep walking here. Prisms are doing some work here. Not completely over yet, chat. Could really do with some Rockies to be in here now. That's 2k. Needs to just go up. Land another one. Can he land another one? No, he doesn't hit the last one. Could do just one more rhino being binned out then. They're going to take the miners. Need to be careful of an elite as well. A random elite could be desperately needs another prism and then engage. There we go. Is there a force shield? Is there a force shield? No force shield. Maybe it wasn't ready. I'm not sure, but needed the force shield. Still has kind of everything he wants, but as this game goes on, looks like Zedd will get himself on the board, losing the miners as well. I see out as well. Chrono nearly ready. Nothing really to Chrono. Rick gonna keep pumping these Grizzlies. Not completely over and done with yet, chat. But this looks tough, doesn't it? This looks tough. Just wonder maybe if you can try to push in and then maybe Chrono some of these rhinos away. I'll drop up in here in the cliff. There we go, exactly as I said. So this is his moment, his opportunity. There's 4 rhinos there. He's got to push in with these Grizzlies now. Power drop up on here. You get an elite here. Power drop could be killing that IC. He's got a chance here, Rick. He's not out of this. I'd desperately be wanting to see some Dessos, some drones here being spammed. So the IC goes down. What's the next target? Is there any reinforcements coming? Doesn't look like... Oh, here it is. On the left-hand side, reinforcements coming. Got a 2-way split here. Rhino numbers are catching up fast, though. Needs to be careful of these miners acting here as fodder as well. And plenty of miners together will thin out Grizzlies pretty quick. And they'd probably just done enough now to hold himself in here. Next Chrono is coming. Wonder maybe if he... What's the plan? Can just engage with these if he wants. Nice power drop there as well. Needs to get these Grizzlies out with him. I beat Tanker. I'm good, man. I'm good. We've got Rick here playing as Allied. Zedd playing as So. And there's a double elite. Rick has got a spy and has lost his MCV. Rick looks like he could win this game here again, chat. We need drones here for Zedd. Zedd calling GG. Wow. Look at Rick. No MCV. Losing that sort of 2-3 minutes ago. Yeah, it's the same. Shame we've only got a few viewers in here. Obviously, lots of things happening elsewhere in the community. MJ streaming over some Chinese RA2 games, which Legend is part of. Marco is also streaming some QM, I believe, as well. But on here right now, we have Rick versus Zedd. Zedd for the first time switches over to Allied. Previously, in the first 3 games, we have Rick playing as Allied with Zedd playing as Soviet. So we go AVA, which is more preferred for Zedd. This matchup here is Rick going to look to counter a scout with the GIs, which he's going to use 3 GIs to do. And Rick should be able to root around no problem. And the dog does get in anyway. So the full scout here for Zedd. Rather watch a small Yuri show match than any boring RA2 game. Indeed, myself as well, all day long. I just can't get into the Chinese show matches as well. Like I struggle watching RA2. Once it's RA2, I'm never really too keen on it. But if I've got nothing else on, sometimes I'll flick it in and out. But yeah, the Chinese guys with MJ casting over it, they just don't seem like the Chinese really follow what's going on too much. I'm sure probably people think the same myself. But yeah, it's quite hard. And RA2 is just So versus Soviet on repeat. Not my cup of tea. Some people love it. But I'm a Yuri's Revenge man all day long. And I love watching the players that don't always get on stream 24/7 as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1 minor long distance to the gems. No issue whatsoever. And here comes the rep as well. That's nice. Here comes the seal. This seal has got an open field here. He knows he's trying to fill that field box. Got to click on it. Can he save it? Oh my god, that was so close. He might ult here. He might go for this ref, yeah. Here comes the Grizzly, won't get it. Nice, the radar is really big AVA, but he might be a little bit frustrated that he didn't get more. I'm surprised he didn't try to bait that pillbox and then come away, but power drop up on here. Radar already now out. So Rocky is out, so he'll be fine there now with that power drop. Shouldn't really get anything with the pillbox there as well. And will defensively be okay there, Zedd. But nice little start there from Rick. Although, having said that, with the radar now out and the battle lab out, when you look at it now, Zedd looks like he's the one probably in a better position. In fact, I would go as far as saying he is 3.5k Rick touching on broke. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I believe we have 7 miners for the allied player in Zedd on the bottom left. On the right hand side with Rick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 as well. Battle lab is also out as well. I like this build up from Zedd. Already built down actually. And a chronosphere comes out as well. And he's going to look to build into the middle. And that chronosphere is ticking down now. Yeah. It is, yeah. Massive the seal. If you land that seal early, it's game on for you, isn't it? And your opponent's already on the back foot early on. But equally, with some maps, especially on some maps with limited like oral gems to start with, if you don't land the seal and it goes down, then it's a really uphill task for Allied. Especially a map. I mean, you wouldn't do it on a map like that anyway. But if you try to map on, for example, Country Swing, if you go quite early there on a seal and it fails, you know you're in trouble. Unless you force your opponent into spending lots of defensive structures. But yeah. There's the spy. So gap generator out, really really nice. These are massively used in Blitz, obviously a small size map, but yeah, I love a gap generator. So frustrating when you don't know what your opponent's got. Stick your army in here, parts of it, hide things away. You know, it's the element of unknown. Even when you're winning a game, you know, Rick could get himself in a really good position. Let's say, and he's winning a game, he could just go in, but he may not know that because of what Zedd has, and that's the lovely thing about the gap generators. Probably both these players. Oh, Battle Lab goes down. Really nice from Zedd, pulling his opponent apart there. Now the Rockies are out of position. Will save the MCV just quite comfortably saves it in the end, but it's been pulled around him. And Zedd is in a really good position here. Both players with a chrono on the field, and Zedd's chrono is now ready with Rick's chrono waiting to come, and he might just chrono units away here. Could just chrono mirages here. Big bulk of them there. That would have been really nice just to chrono them straight into the water. The back door gets the MCV. How much of a price does he pay for this? Is there a counter punch here? Does get the MCV. Does lose a decent price for that though. So Zedd just needs to steady himself down a little bit, regain his units. Only on the 2 war factories for 9k. Rick on 7.5k has 2 war factories, but you can't produce any more. No service depot. Did miss that seal. I'm not sure if we were going to walk in a spire. Sorry, I'm not sure if we're going to walk in spire if that went down. I completely missed that in the action. Didn't much feel of that. Rocky's in a perfect position here. Rick's are way out of position here. Engagement here with the Rockies. An elite Rocky comes out. That's quite big. Really, really needs to try to make a move or do something quite quick here, Rick. Maybe even the Tanya, but the Chronosphere is coming, and there's still a Chronosphere on the field here for Rick, which he hasn't used yet. He needs to try and find a way in. Rick has a couple of times I've doubted him and thinking, yeah, okay, maybe this time he's going to lose this one. And then he's pulled it back. So here we go, engagement now. He's got that Chronosphere, still hasn't used it. Maybe waiting for more of these Mirages to come. Once these Mirages come, can chrono them away. Big engagement. Still has the chrono. Still not used the chrono. I'm not sure if he's low power or what's happened. Still never used that chrono. Trying desperately to hang on in here, but it looks like it's Rick is going to lose this one. What's on the back end of this? Power drop comes in. Not sure what happened with a chrono. So Zedd using 2 chronos to Rick, who's still not chronoed. Yeah, and this is feels like a matter of time now before Zedd wins this one, unfortunately. Not sure why. I'm not sure if I've missed something here, but not sure why the chrono's not been used. I mean, I believe he has power. Looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 power plants, and obviously you could set up a Patriot missile. You could set up a ref in here if you wanted to, if you needed the power, but hasn't used it. Doesn't get the war factory with the power drop either. Doesn't get the battle lab either. There is a lack of miners here from Zedd. See the miner. Oh, okay, there's 4 down the bottom here. 5, 6, 7. Okay, miner count isn't as bad as I thought. Need to click on these. There we go. Now uses the chrono. I'd love to see them use that chrono in here, chat. I think if he'd have chronoed in there, I think he had a chance. Really think he had a chance. If he'd have chronoed in there, then Mirage is coming out. And even a couple of miners he could have had as well. I think he was in a really good chance there. Probably his best chance he's going to get in this game. Still hanging on here, Rick. 8k, got to keep pumping and pumping and pumping.
Warning, lightning storm created.
The Rockies, but no battle lab. Chrono comes out, so radar and war factory goes down. This has got to be his last push. I think we're going to see a GG. There we go.
Player defeated.
So interesting. I quite like spontaneous show matches. I hate planning things like a week in advance or like 3-4 days in advance and things like that. Kind of the main reason why I don't do the top pro players so much anymore. When I first started streaming, I used to do a lot of them, but nowadays, yeah, there's a lot of time and effort goes into arranging these sort of show matches. I like to just, fuck it, I'll stream today. Who wants to play? That's kind of the attitude I've always been. So Rick is playing as Soviet. And Rick is in yellow, okay? So Rick as Soviet. Zedd is an Allied in red, just to confirm. Zedd will start on the gems on this bottom side here. Give his ref there. Bottom side here, he's walled up his MCV. Top left, we see Rick walling his MCV as well. So the Connie's going to come. Let's take care of them dogs. This is walled, so we'll need to get a Rhino over there to take care of that. Will Rick go 0, or is he going to pump a miner here? Goes for a drone first. I think I'd like to see Rick go 0 here. It's quite a strong map, I think, for Sov. This is quite hard here for Allied to play, in my opinion. Just to make sure this dog doesn't take care of these Connies. Now he's going to come over and harass this miner. So 2 grizzlies coming. Some Connies. The seal is on its way for Zedd. One pillbox goes down. Pincher comes up. Here comes the seal. Pinches off that. I want to just take care of this wall, really, and then let the Connies take care of that. Needs to be really careful of the seal. He's pushing. Seal coming. Seal doesn't want to come to these Connies, does it? Doesn't want to go down here cheaply. Gonna get some work done here. Oh, it does. Yeah, the Rhinos get caught shooting at the pillbox, but for a split second there, the Rhinos are nearly shooting at the IV, and that'd have been really cheap to lose your IV seal like that. But he's still running him there. Not sure what he's doing with his seal. 1 tick of health. Oh, and he nearly caught it again. Yeah, really doesn't want to lose the seal IV just for killing some Connies. It's still there. But I would be bringing that seal back and putting it in a new IV. Now I'm going to come over and take care. That's a really poor seal. Power drop coming in. Let's be careful with this power drop here. The sentry comes up there, pre-expecting it to go further than it is. And there is a battle lab up. Miner comes here to help take care. Hoping to drone for that. That's absolutely no issue. Doesn't want to lose a miner though. GG. Oh! Loses the miner. Needs to click on this Mirage. Does do so nicely. Click on the Mirage again. Does do nicely again. Does lose an oil. An oil and a miner. That's a nice power drop. Loses the miner himself. Clicking the Mirages nicely. Rick in good position here. Going to come and take down this lab. And I think Rick is in a really, really nice position here. 1, 2, 3, 4 war factories. Let's get a vet. Doesn't get that oil on the top side. You see that wall that's been taken down and partly some damage lost there to the oil. So obviously where he was. Rhinos regrouping. This is a scary amount of Rhinos that are going to keep coming here. 1 war factory. No battle apps, no Mirages. And Rick is in a really, really good position here. Rick should win this game. Just needs to pin these down. What is the target here? Going for the power. Needs to be careful. He's in quite deep here, and there is 3 Rockies. Going to go for the battle lab again. Does get it. Doesn't lose his sort of army here, but the reinforcements should just keep pumping. But Zedd is fighting another day. Where is he sending these Rockies? I think he has to just keep these Rockies on these Rhinos. So I'm not sure why he's pulling back. Nice. Take it. Not sure where he's and why he feels he needs to come back there. Battle Lab is up again. Yeah, and that seal early there. They played each other about 2 months ago when Rick won 5-0. I think both of them have improved since then. I'd be surprised if Doofus was to lose 5-0 this time. And that was obviously Soviet versus Soviet head-to-head. This time Rick would probably play Allied. So I think it's a show match that should take place again, though, for sure. I think Doofus has got a lot better since then as well. Lovely Prism. And there's 2 prisms together now. So Rick is broke. Zedd is pinned right in here. And he has got all his miners on the side over here. And he never got rid of that oil. If he was to have got rid of this, I think he wins. He just constricts him like a snake almost, doesn't he? He just kills him in here. But for a time being, he will have the oil on the right hand side with the ore. What do we think, chat? I mean, this is Zedd we're talking about. Very impressive player. Can Zedd come out of this and get a win? I think I'd like to see him come up here, come finish this rep and the oil. Be careful here. Fighting this. Get an elite. That's not good. Can come back with that elite. Look at the rhinos. Reinforcements coming. Split over here as well. Power goes down. And Rick all over his opponent here. Still 1 war factory, 2 war factories. Sorry for Zedd. Radar is out. And Zedd can't really afford to be aggressive here. All these GIs go down, don't get deployed. Frustrating sometimes when you click him. You try to deploy your GIs, they just don't sometimes. It's a bit like a Deso, one of the most frustrating things. Happens to me sometimes in Blitz. I'm spamming to try and deploy my GIs, I just won't go. Zedd just trying to stay in this game as long as he can. I think he, you know, maybe... Can he try and sneak up with a Tanya or a Steel again? Or I think if I'm Rick here, I'm contemplating a battle lab and an IC here. Zedd will run out of ore on this right hand side soon. He's getting mirages up though. I don't think we've loaded any Desos. There's the battle lab and the nuclear reactor. And there we go. Some miners here. Gonna be juicy. Comes into 3 prisms. Just the 1 left now. Wants to make sure he keeps hold of that battle, that elite, which he does. On the left hand side though, gonna lose a lot of miners. Zedd goes with a counter punch, and maybe Rick didn't expect him to come out and be so brave, but gonna lose sort of best part of 4 or 5 miners there, I believe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 miners left. Rick is broke. IC is ready. It's on the field, sorry. It's 4.5 minutes. Game time. Rogers are there. I'm not sure there's any Desos here. Taking this fight now. There's the Desos. Oh, it doesn't go. If the Desos go, we win. Now he's in trouble here. He is in trouble. He's going to lose all of his army here. Rick knows it as well. Rick knows if that Deso deploys, he wins. And I promise you there that Zedd would have quit. And that was so close. Some might also say, why did Rick need to do that? Why didn't you just wait for your IC to be ready? But Zedd is back in this game. Zedd is back in this game. Still again, 1 Deso bomb flips the game. That was a radar, so he can't build any more Desos. Rick is completely broke. And he just wants to this IC to come in so he can kill these. He's going to engage too early. Okay, forces him back, nice. Oh, this is really nice for Rick now actually. The sentry coming out helping him massively, so we can now go and use an offensive IC here. GI's coming on the right hand side. Another Mirage just for TT and over. But needs to think about the ore patch here. This obviously got taken down, which I missed. Shock. The IC is ready. Chrono's on the field as well, and he's moved MCV and he's got it there. Oh, thank you, MJ. Sorry, I missed that. Thank you very much, MJ, with the raid. Hope you had a good stream. Some Chinese players taking on some Western players. So Rick now pushing through now, filling out these Mirages. His prisms are really tasty here. Can just fall back behind them. Does get a little bit of joy, but not enough. Wonder if he can dive on this on this MCV. Nice little turn back there, baits the Mirages in. We'll pin these Mirages right out. There's just a one Mirage left on the field now. Paradrop coming in, the gap generator is there, which the element of fear, you don't know what's going on. On the backside there is a Paradrop there as well. Needs to deploy that. This is a really, really good game. One that Rick is will be frustrated if he loses for sure. Grizzly's lining up over here. And Zedd's miners are getting to work. And if you look where Rick is, he loses the war factory up there. If you look where Rick is with his miners, sort of not good. Needs to try and get himself into here. Chrono came out, taking down a miner. I believe. The elite GI goes down, but it's Zedd's position that I'd prefer to be in right now. Needs to be careful coming up this cliff. He's going to force him back. Zedd would have been much better just to stay still there from the start. Gets an elite. He does take care of the elite. How brave can Rick be with this this ISC? What can he get done? There's a service people on the field there, we notice as well. So he doesn't mind if he comes in and takes his MCB. I think you're going to see a GG here. I see one Rhino. And sells off as well. Oh, Rick could be so frustrated himself. He was 1 second away from that Deso dropping in here on either one. Wasn't the case. And Rick will be absolutely gutted with himself there. This was his game to win. Zedd with a really, really nice comeback though. And especially 3-1 behind. Managed to keep himself into this game as long as he can, and eventually he got a couple of sucker punches with the oil up on here. This is quite big as well. Rick never got up on here onto these gems. Just pretty big. Power drop coming. But even with his next IC, there's no way, unless Rick is getting full random leads, you can't see the way that Rick can do anything. He's trying to defend with his Desos. Next to the war factory there, 40 seconds until the IC, which will be ready on the clock. Here's Mirage just going down. Yeah. Power drop coming in, needs to self that power plant. So Mirage just do pop. And this will be the last and final attempt by Rick to do something. What can he do? He has to drive right through the gut here, I guess. There's a chrono straight onto the battle lab. Over to the RSD. And that was GG. That's really unfortunate for Rick. Rick will be absolutely gutted there himself. Probably don't go as far as having a complete pro, but definitely again this is winning. Win by some way as well. Zedd just hanging on in there. And eventually Rick got caught out. Rick played that really well against me actually.
Building captured.
He beat me up and spat me out as well on this. Rick had a very nice build against me. He played on the right side in that time. But okay, so we have Rick versus Zedd. ABA, the score is Rick 3, Zedd 2. It's a best of 11, Yuri's Revenge. 20 USD. Sponsored Showmatch. So we're going to get a rep into here, start on the gems. Got your patches over to the side as well. See Rick up on the top left hand side, both players obviously starting with these oils. Zedd calls low. I'm not sure why. Maybe because of the build. I'm sure he can still get a rep into here and be okay. And I assume he's just going to go up this way. No ref, no ref. That's why. That's huge, yeah. He's forgot to build a ref. That's quite a big chat. You see, he's already tipped War Factory out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. How far he's behind with that War Factory. Look at the Rick offering him if you want to re. Zedd said no, it's fine. Now he's going to ult the ref. Oh. Nasty from Rick. He offers him a re. He says no, then Rick says nice, I'm going to punish you. Not too bad anyway, because the not too bad of an issue because the next ref comes out. But Rick needs to make sure he doesn't throw this though away. Here comes the IV. See what Rick on the back of this. Just on one minor, really pushing in here. But Zedd's still hanging on in here. Zedd's okay for now. Three miners versus three. In fact, sorry, 4 now miners. He is hanging on in here to fight. 3 Grizzlies here for 3 Grizzlies. A lot of Rockies though. Just trying to constrict him again. The power drop comes in. The power drop can really help. We can walk the power drop forward here. That's going to be really nice. Zedd with no Rockies on the field yet. Himself. Wants to get these in and around here. Forcing Zedd into the pillboxes. Let's have a look again. 1, 2, 3, 4. So Rick's still getting busy on the back of this. Now the Rockies are starting to come as well for Zedd. Power drop. Now the Rockies can get to work here. Zedd is definitely is more than back in this now. Definitely really even. Has to get these Rockies back into position. Yeah, fair play to Zedd there. He was offered a re as well from Rick, which is respectful, which is nice. Depending on that missed it, Zedd undeployed his MCV as his ref was ready, which put him. We counted around sort of 12 seconds behind on the war factories piece, and obviously that 12 seconds of mining time as well. This power drop is going to be thrown away. Not too sure about that. Really wanted Rick to be in here so it could split the units up. There's very unlikely that power drop was going to get any joy just being chucked in there. Both players now with a battle lab up, so Mirages are out. And as the dust settles, Zedd does recover from that early sort of mistake, accident or click. How much of a price he's paid for it doesn't seem too bad. Doesn't seem too bad. We also have a miner count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6 miners there for Zedd in red as allied. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for Rick. But Rick's miners are not mining very efficiently whatsoever. See Zedd all on here. Got 1 miner here long distance in to this ref here. But yeah, a little bit messy. A little bit messy. Probably want to get another ref into here, then send a lot of his miners over here. Some people do opt to move the MCV. We do see Zedd here on a Chronosphere. He's going to play quite a cagey camped game in here, and wait for this chrono. Really, I think that's going to be the plan. I think he's going to mine this ore patch here. By the time he's mined that, his chrono will be ready, and hope that his chrono can do him some damage, and then he'll be able to expand out. Going to engage here though. 3 IVs perfectly positioned here in the back. Mirage is here in the back as well. Oh, and it looks really nice for Zedd. They're playing that really nice. Can he get any miners? Rockies here. There's just 1 IV there. 1 IV. Gotta go for the MCV. Should be a 4 shield. There we go. He's gonna lose everything for that. Gotta get some reinforcements here. No, these Rockies just gotta go to work. Rockies have gotta go to work. Anything to come in. Power drop on the back here. Taking down his MCV. Taking down the MCV. Apologies, chat. I did just miss that. But 1 power drop taking down an MCV. Still has the battle lab. 2 war factories. Absolutely huge. Zedd on the back of that, just microing and he said AFK minor Rick. And yeah, Zedd knows he's won this game now. Happy to help out his opponent. Looks like we're going to be tied up. Chronosphere is ready. And you see the prisms are loaded here. Probably just wants a couple of prisms to come in here. Maybe I'd get the 4 shield in time. Rick has the money, but no barracks. And no barracks in AVA is massive. And he Chronos 3 Harriers away. IV's trying to thin out these numbers in the Rockies, but they'll be unsuccessful. Prism's also helping there as well, behind the GIs. Very little here Rick can do. I'm going to go to 3-3. One power drop clearing off the back of that base. Still a power drop there as well, which can take that oil. And there we go.
Player defeated.
Rick quits. Nicely done from Zedd there. We have Zedd versus Rick. So Zedd's playing as Yuri. Yuri is his best faction, I think, for sure. Most people in the community would tell you that, and I think he'd tell you that himself. Rick playing a Soviet. Rick was traditionally always a Soviet player, but as I mentioned earlier, has been playing some Allied for the last sort of, I'd say probably maybe a couple of months, maybe 6 weeks, something like that, roughly, which has become his preferred sort of faction, and I think he'll continue with that. We are on Country Swing. Not a bad map here for Yuri. It's a map that takes a while to get your eco going, though, doesn't it? You know, quite early on you're broke. There's no gems. There's no oil, so it takes you a little while to get going. And we see Rick coming on over with a few conscripts. Doesn't look like he's going to go hard on it. Don't think a fully garrison building could take that barracks, could it? No, don't think it could. Bunker coming out, so Gat's going to come out and it's going to garrison that bunker there as well. Oh, this building here doing work. Yeah, loses them Connies early. So sort of 4 or 5 Connies lost. That's 400 or 500 or so that Rick's lost there. May looks just to garrison these buildings now. Mag is out. The mag is out. So Zedd is broken. He's on 1 miner. Rick is on 3. So Zedd really not wanting any early pressure to go behind. He doesn't mind going broke here, but just says, you know what, I'm not going to allow you to push any Connies in and Rhinos and come and upset me early doors. I'm just going to get myself into this game. Yes, I'm going to go be broke for a little while, but he wants that mag and that Gat out just to not allow for any early rush. Rick pulls back, and the miners are coming. Now, what does Rick do here? I mean, he goes for another miner. Can he go over to a radar and get a deso early here and harass 2 miners here? That would be big if he could. 3 miners now coming, so Zedd catching up on the miner count. But like I said, it's really hard to get Eureka going on this map. Slaves are working hard to try and do that for Zedd. Still happy to pump the Rhinos here, Rick. So I think both players are going to settle in here for the first sort of 3-4 minutes and just build up their eco, build up their unit count. And Rick, I would imagine, will look for an IC pretty quick. 1 deso in at the flak. Miner count. There's the battle map. Let's send 1 miner up to the top side to try to harass. Chaos Drone comes out. To counter. I've not seen people use the Chaos Drone to counter a deso. Flat track has temporarily been slowed down and has got no joy with that. The IC is on the field. IC is on the field. Can set off these power plants if he wishes to do so. Rick. drone's still trying to be annoying. Just try to prevent. It's going to lose this mag with the Deso in. But while this is happening, it's slowed him down. Does get to the point. Does get the miner though. Won't get a second one. Comes out. Does get one miner though. Will he pay any price for it? Doesn't look like he will. Looks like he's going to get out of there. And it's going to be a long grind for Rick. Here, what's his stamina like? Leading 3-0. Game is now 3-3. He really wants this win on the board here. This will be a big win for him here. Especially taking down his Yuri. Deso goes down to the Mastermind. Just able on foot race. Mastermind just a little bit of quicker over land. This is now out. Gonna come for another miner again. Power comes out. Knows he can't engage.
Disc in flight.
Just wonder how far he can get up to here. Doesn't get a great deal. Has to come out now. Yeah, it wasn't the best IC. Slowing his opponent down though, for sure. Pretty sure we're going to see a psychic tower come out. There we go. Yeah, psychic tower clears that up. Kind of surprised Rick stayed there. Going to go for the lab. Does get it. We'll get a power plant. Just Nova committed here. The power though. Doesn't get the last power, unfortunately. It's definitely slowing his opponent down. There's the one power plant left in the field, so he is still low power. Psychic Dominator and Genetic Mutate on the field. IC is now going to be ready again, and Nuke is going to be ready. 3 minutes on the clock. Burkle and Rick OP question mark. Rick was 3 games to 0. He is 3-3 now. There is an army on its way, so just defensive IC needed here. Whoa, 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 your drone's going. Whoa. Whoa, not good. Didn't need to do that. Could have just waited. IC droned and then moved in with his rhinos. And instead, he's going to have to use a defensive IC here. Yeah, that was a mistake from Rick there. Could have IC droned, and then he could have gone in with his rhinos again and been aggressive. Instead, he's had to use a defensive IC. Zedd would be more than happy with that. But yes, Rick's still in a good position here. He's on 9k. Nuclear missile is ready in 40-second game time. This next IC is going to be big with this. With the nuclear reactor. No full shield as well. The lab was killed. Gotta be careful of this grinder. Grinder is there. Let's go down. Nuclear missile is ready. Nuclear missile is ready. Here it comes. Very nice. And Zedd is in big trouble here. Really, really big trouble here. Needs to overload. Socket tower comes down as well to help. Needs to just click on his own rhinos. Got to click these rhinos. He doesn't in time. Still needs to be careful. There's another commit. IC is now going to be ready in 40-second game time. Psychic Dominator for Zedd is ready in less than 2-minute game time. And Zedd quits out. No GG called. 4-3. So the Zedd up on here on the top right hand side. He continues as Yuri. As he did last game, which is the only game of the series that we've seen Zedd play Yuri. I think Rick, there was no set rules for this, but I think Rick didn't want to end up doing Allied versus Yuri, basically, and has wanted to play Yuri through this. But as the series has gone on, he switched over to Soviet, which has then meant Zedd switched over to Yuri. So Zedd does wall his MCV, quite traditional with the Yuri players. Wall up your MCV. Dog comes across to scout. Brute coming across. It's a fairly strong. So we will get a scout, which also means Zedd has seen the Connies. So we'll see a war factory and a GAT coming really fast. Initiate coming through the middle and over here. Bunker is coming. So should force Zedd here into going for a mag quite early if he's going to come for the rhinos. Yeah. But this time you have gems, so Zedd will be okay early. The difference on that country swing is you just go so broke. Double gap. Chaos Drone is there as well. Likes them Chaos Drones, Zedd. Don't see too many people use them. But I can get some value. Oh, run straight over the miners. Here come the Connies. It's quite scary. I want that power. And he quits. And he quits. Rick goes within match point against Zedd. How do we pronounce that one? Rick on the left hand side as Soviet. Zedd on the right hand side playing in Yuri. Start with these early gems on here for both players as well. Have the opportunity to move to the middle as well. Not too much all there. It's not a massive fighting point, but definitely Yuri can maybe move the miner. A little bit of sprinkler gems, not too much. We do have this building up here. You can tech workshop that you can capture. That allows you then to tech outpost. It's called. Allows you then to build the navy off here or off here, and obviously the dreads for Yuri, as we know, are very strong. Not many Yuri map ladders that has navy in. So Connies are out. Very similar things are going to happen. It's a decent size map here. It should be enough for Zedd to stop this. I mean, it worked last time. You have to, I think, at this level. It doesn't work again, does it? But Rick would just want supply pressure, force him into not being able to build many miners early, force him into the mags, that sort of stuff early, which doesn't obviously allow them then to get his miner count up. And the very early radar. Flag comes out. What is coming in the flag? An engineer. Interesting, because the MCV is ward, but I don't know if he wants a tech workshop or what the plan is here. There's the mag. He could just retrieve here, maybe, unless he can pop off his mag. Oh, doesn't want to lose that mag. Oh, a couple of shots there. He's trying to double whammy, isn't he? Trying to come in with this side, so the mag can't defend the NG because it's out here fighting these Connies. Wonder if there's a tower ready to come. Retrieves him right back into his base. Oh, this is not good. Goes for the power. Gets the power. Does he build a sentry in his base? There we go. Sentry's there. And the mag has got decent range. There we go. Another sentry comes out, and it's going to get the mag. Is it? Oh, it just saves the mag. The back of this. Let's have a look. Miner counts are going out. Rick really pressing here. Double power plant in his opponent's base. Wants to get over to that mag. Hasn't got a radar out though. Rick needs to be really careful. Hasn't got a radar out. And does recover this Zedd. At what cost? 3, 4, 5 miners. The lab is out. Zedd looks like he's done alright there. There's a lot of miners here for Rick, but there's no radar. And I think Zedd just sends it downfield here. 3 mags. There's the radar. Got to get a Deso here quick. Deso really needs to be pumped out. What do you think, chat? Who would you prefer to be right now? Would you be the Yuri player, or would you take the Soviet player here? It's going to get this outpost here, which does allow for the Navy then being loaded. Going to harass the miners, one would assume. There is 2 masterminds on the field. Genetic Mutator as well. No battle lab still here for Rig. The Yuri player is in a pretty good spot here for me. And we know that naval shipyard's going to come.
Disc in flight.
Disc is out. There's the naval shipyard. And Rick has 2k in the bank. Zedd here really struggling with his eco. But does have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 miners.
Disc in flight.
Gonna move the MCV. The IC is now on the field. Taken 4.5 minutes. That's probably the only thing, one of the things Rick has done, which is really well at slowing the Yuri player down and harassing. The only problem is that the IC has taken a while to come, and I do feel like the Yuri player has an opportunity here to come and really harass these miners and do some work here. 2 mags, 3 mags, a couple of discs, 2 masterminds. He's going to just accept the fact that he's going to lose a mine or 2 here. Some people might have just tried to run into that. And the mutator takes down the Deso, which is smart. So the boomer can now go to work though. There's the war factory on the right hand side. Let's clear up that army. I see the going to very shortly, but he's in trouble here, Rick. Zedd recovering nice. He does take care of these mags. Should take care of these mags. The boomer's still doing work. Mag goes down. Lashes are coming out now. That part's not an issue. Has a nuclear reactor. The ref though is tasty. Pretty sure he should be able to reach that. We'd love to get a drone into there. That's mastermind is in the open. What can Rick do with this IC then? What can Rick do with the IC? Only on 1 war factory here, the Soviet side. Gonna go downfield as he comes back. Brave way to overline. The grinder is there. Doesn't get it in time. Another overload again. Not too sure this time it'll be successful, will it? Let's save it, but they'll lose majority of them. Needs to get a nice forward IC up in here. How much of this can he spin out? Gotta go for the lab. Gets it. Needs to get out of there though. This mastermind and a... Does he get out? What do you think, chat? What do you think? 2 war factories here, but the lab does go down, slows them down for a little while. Rick has rhinos building up, has a nuclear reactor as well. All players with the both players with all super weapons on the field. And soon Zedd has to start mining these all here, which once he expands out, may give Rick the opportunity to start plugging away. 2 minutes on the IC. Just the 1 mastermind in there though. Rick could probably just take this fight. Careful on the cliff. Careful on the cliff. Does he get the rhinos to work? The rhinos need to come into work as well. Gonna go for the nuke. Does force shield it. Should clear up this army. The IC is going to go down though. That IC is big. Battle lab as well. Does get the battle lab just as well. Does have an elite on the field here, but no IC. The IC is so big for the Soviet player. We'll come in and finish up the rest of this army. The back of this Zedd is 5.5k. Battle lab is back on the field. Genetic mutator being used as well, so get his eco going as well. So Rick has to rebuild the IC. If you had kept the IC, you felt like Rick then was in a really promising position. Nuclear reactor is soon to come. Psychic Dominator could be quite big as well though here for the Yuri. Mag on this cliff. Desperately will want that elite to go down. Now I need to just come out. Needs to be careful here. Will he turn and fight? Will he turn and fight? No, he's happy to come back. Loses a couple of rhinos though. 2 masterminds now as well. Definitely can't push into that. Now coming up to the 10-minute mark. Conscripts coming out black as well. Connies need to be careful. A little bit too far forward. Trying to overwhelm. Icy is back on the field. Psychic Dominator is due in under a minute now. Will he go for the buildings? What do you take? A Battle Lab and a War Factory? I'm not sure. Or do you gamble and try and hit? Psychic Dominator. Do you try and gamble and try for the IC or the Rhinos? Scary army here for Rick with that IC being ready in 2 and a bit minutes. Does get the Psychic Dominator off, but it doesn't get any joy. The Battle Lab goes down as well. This is Rick is really in an enemy line here. His IC is not going to be ready in time here to use this offensively. Right up here. Here comes the nuclear reactor. Going to lose these, and he's going to probably lose the elite. Needs to get out there with that elite. Can't lose that elite. He's got to be clicking on that elite. Surely, does he keep that elite alive? He does for now. Elite is still alive, but does lose a large part of his army there. On the back of this, there's more Rhinos coming. 20 seconds now. Game time for the IC. A real battle this. There's a lot of masterminds. I mean, be tempted here for the IC drones, maybe. Can't lose that elite. The elite is really important here. I'd be really tempted for IC drones this time. Just take them down. Zedd eco is not as good as it is, not as flush as you'd like. Doesn't get just going to use the. Really wasn't that good of an IC. Does pop off some of them. Gonna get the miner and the rep. The army is filling out. There we go. So let's mutate in the middle. And as traditional as Soviet has to do, has to just keep applying pressure after pressure, has to grind his opponent down and get in the middle and thin out. And mags, needs to be so careful of mags, but the tower can come down as well. Does get one miner. Just a couple of mags, be careful of the psychic tower. Doesn't get that last miner, unfortunate. The IC is coming and the nuclear missile is coming. How much of Zedd can he just keep being pampered down like this? Miners, where are the miners going? IC drones here would be nice again. Just keep thinning Zedd out here, I think. There we go. We'll get some miners. Wonder what he's going to do with his ore here. Rick is pinned in. Doesn't really have the miners left. There's some. We'll save this last one. Probably really wants to maybe move his MCV in here. Can chat? Do you think just move your MCV into here? Yuri needs to grind it close to enemy's base by either moving the MCV or using the Yuri Prime. Yeah, it would be a bad shout at highlight. Mastermind's coming in again. Here comes the nuclear missile. And juicy targets in here. There's a force shield. Does come out. Does have the force shield ready in time. Does get 2 war factories. Leads his opponent on 1 war factory. Power plant comes back out. A couple of masterminds here. Really open here. Just one would be good and brave. Can you maybe come on this cliff and take this power here? Power is being built. Rick really having to fight for this. Zedd, really good game from both these players. But you just know with Yuri, the game can change. One good mastermind, one good psychic tower. You know, psychic tower here goes and grabs the elite or something like that. The game can flip on its head. Rick is really broke. He's struggling so bad with his eco here. Mine and dirt. I just think he has to probably move his MCV up into here and try to be brave. He's going to engage here. That's going to be fine. It's going to make that. Loses all his flax. Needs to be really careful here, Rick. Has he overcommitted? IC is ready though, chat. There's the IC. Doesn't get everything that he wants. Gonna go for the MCV. Can take the war factory. That's the last war factory. That is the last war factory. It allows him to rebuild. That is the last war factory. He can just wait. The nuclear missile. I'm not sure the force shield will be ready in time. Needs to be careful. He doesn't overcommit here. The mags and the masterminds are coming. Got to get out. Got to get out. Does get out. Would you have dived on the war factory, or would you have just waited for your nuke to come? There's 4 masterminds in there, chat. Wave overload. Gonna hit that nuke, isn't he? He's gonna hit the nuke. Gonna hit the nuke. 4 shield comes out. 2 start to pop. Another one pops. Zedd in trouble. He's on 10k though, Zedd. Another one. Overloads again. Overload. And how far is the grinder away? The circuit tower should help. It will overload. Does overload. Genetic mutator comes out as well. Does keep the 4 shield. Does keep the nuclear reactor alive. Yeah, Bergsan, yeah, needed to kill the war. The nuclear missile is coming. Taking down the miners as well. MCV is back out. Yep. MCV is back out. Gonna keep trying to grind his opponent down here. Rick is doing an excellent job. Just the, you know, do your dive on that war factory. Really small margins here. IC is ready again. And he's gonna come in again. Nuclear missile is ready as well. The nuclear missile is ready, chat. He needs to keep going with these. He hits that as well. Bucket tower down. Zedd is on 10k. Here's the issue. Zedd is on 10k. The slave miner's doing work as well. A radar and a power plant for the slave miners. So hard against a Yuri to actually close out the game. Can see this for Rick. He's absolutely fighting his hardest here to really try and close this game out. Zedd absolutely defensively been on the ropes at times. Had moments on the offense as well. We're up to 17 minutes here. And this elite has been alive for some time. I'd love to know actually how much damage this has done. 2 elites there and a vet as well. The IC is going to be ready again. And Zedd is in trouble. Zedd is in trouble, but don't rule Zedd out, chat. Do not rule Zedd out. C-class Yuri in shambles. Oh, they'll just lose that. Oh, the IC. Oh, it wasn't a good IC. Was not a good IC, was it? Not a good IC. IC wasted. Can't overcommit here. Gonna overcommit, chat. Rick has just thrown the game. There's a double elite. On the back of that, I have no idea what I've just seen. Takes a stamina. I wouldn't be grinding these. I'd be keeping these alive and just sending them straight to my opponent's base right now. Double elite. He just... Genetic mutator comes out as well. Does 4 shield. Does get 1. Gonna lose everything even by the time second one is not droned. The Zedd will be feeling a massive sigh of relief. He was losing this game. Nuclear missile goes down. Have to feel sorry for Rick here. Have to feel sorry for Rick here, but yeah, that's the thing with Yuri, isn't it? It's if you just keep yourself in there as Yuri. If your opponent makes a mistake like that, runs into a psychic tower, credit to Zedd, he had another psychic tower ready as well. Use his mags to drop the rhinos as well, and yeah, I mean Zedd doesn't really have another option here but just to really quit. Rick says, well, that's unfair. And Zedd replies, it says the guy with 5,000 flags. Responds with sound, I'm just gutted. Zedd says, I don't care what you say. We go to 5-4, and this is psychologically going to play on Rick's mind, isn't it? Rick's not quit. But that's it, Mutate is going to take care of them very shortly. It's going to be very juicy for the Yuri player as well. Yeah, great game. Yeah, it was a good game. Yeah, just feel like that's a big moment in the series, isn't it? A really big moment in the series. Zedd still needs 2 games, and Rick will just need the 1 still, but there we go, Genetic Mutator comes out. Psychic Dominator ready in 6 minutes. Mastermind in the back here. Zedd just doesn't want to. GG call from Rick.
Player defeated.
Okay, of course, GG. The 5-4.
Tech building captured.
So Rick starts on the south spot here as Soviet, and Zedd starts up on the north side here as Yuri. Playing Yuri, I prefer this spot up here actually, just because it's a little bit smaller in here. You can kind of get in and out a little bit more on this spot here. Interesting. Some people might counter it for the other argument, but I do prefer this spot up here. God, these are going to come out. That's to be completely expected from Rick. He's got lots of work done with his conscripts. They've been pretty successful. Any pressure, it'll go 0 straight onto that war factory. Mine are possibly eating ore there. Mine are possibly eating ore. Gatling comes up. This polar bear's fucking annoying. Okay, he's eating gems. Wants to get a rhino. If you can get a rhino over here fast, stop this Gatling. How quick can you get a rhino over there? A couple of gaps come out. So he's going to force a mag early. I've got to get any joy from now. So 2 rhinos are out. I'll save this. Yes. Just hear that brute in the corner of my ear. It does save it possibly a century. So opening start here, a couple of gats and 1-2 miners as well. Let's build a gat up in here as well. Has a gat in here as well. And sells that off. On the left hand side has a flak here. Trying to see what joy he can get. Can he get up over until take down this power? Here comes the mag. We do see 4 miners for the Yuri player with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the Soviet player with the radar out. But the lab already out here for Zedd, and he is on 4.5k. Miners are eating them gems nice and fast. I've got real as well, and a miner up in there as well. So double gems and an oil and a power. Tech shop is nice. Do you see the battle lab out as well? Just the 1 war factory. Battle lab up. Is there a drone? No, you should always really try to just keep 1 drone alive. Just a sort of in and out mission with the desos. And Zedd is on 4.5k. He's on double war factory. Has a lab up as well. There comes.
Disc in flight.
Disc come up, that's nice. I'm just going to wait for the disc. The flak on the left hand side of your screen, you can see where the engine goes down. That's the best deploy. Just bother them slave miners for a little while. Get them deploy it. Doesn't get that second deploy on it.
Disc
Delay
in
them
flight.
slave miners for a little bit longer. Discs airing fly. 3 minutes until the IC to be ready for the Yuri player. One of the things that you can do as well I can use the Yuri Prime in this water. Can get some joy. I need to follow it with a drone. Or even a siege chopper can be a counter as well, but it can be annoying. Just deploy, gets a better gap there, that's nice. Drone does go down. Oh, it doesn't deploy that. I think if he deploys it, probably gets that gat and that mag. Might lose a miner here, so there's a nice little opening here for Zedd. Nuclear reactor is ready. IC is now going to be ready on the clock as well. If he goes straight on the, going to go straight over here onto the battle lab. I needed to bring them rhinos in to take care. I haven't called the IC yet because obviously he's used the IC on that. MCV. That's going to be game chat. That's going to be the game. We are going to go to a final game. And Rick within inches of winning 6-3 in a series. A really decisive win, which that would have been. Now at 5-5 going into the last game. Gonna spam the Connies, maybe bring the miners as a last ditch, maybe. You know, on one war factory versus 3. Probably bring the miners and just see what you can do. Thank you very much for the follow, Dag. Very much appreciated there. The miners are coming, the Connies are coming, but there's a psychic tower there as well as a diss in the field. Zedd just has to hold on in here, which he will do. And has the grinder in the back here as well. Wants another grinder a little bit closer, but not an issue here. The rhinos are there. There's the grinder. Wave overload. Rick quits out. Final deciding game. It's 5-5.
Tech building captured.
Could be a big win for Rick. I think coming so close, like I said earlier, to winning it 6-3. To now lose this, he'll be absolutely gutted. And I know Rick is someone quite similar to myself. We spoke about this recently in the last week or two together about taking show matches very, very seriously. I don't mind admitting it that when I'm playing a show match, I'm 110% invested into that match, and I want to win. I take it very, very seriously. And Rick is someone who's exactly the same as well. And sometimes why he talks about taking breaks from the game because he gets too invested. But there are other people who just come in, chill, don't really care. I think Marsh is someone who can be like that as well. He doesn't really care if he loses, just comes in, plays, enjoys himself, says the game's 20+ years old, who cares, sort of thing. Where yeah, I'm so competitive, and Rick's another one. So he'll be gutted to lose this now, to get himself into the position he has. Can he see out the job? Can he win this 6-5? This game has swung back and forward with momentum. Momentum this time is with Zedd. Connie's coming up to the top side. Dog was there but didn't get the block. We need a rhino up to the north left side here. Gat is coming. Needs to get the rhino over. Gat's going to come into the oil. It's always interesting to know how much each player is scouted. Now, could potentially put the rhino out in front and then move the Connies in. Doesn't need to do that by the looks of it. There's a radar, so a psychic tower could come, but now he moves the rhinos away. That's nice. And the tech power plant would be a really nice take here. Let's have a look. Does tear that down. So tech power plant is nice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 miners for the Yuri player on the top right hand side for Zedd. Has a little gap next to the oil as well. On the bottom right hand side, Rick has a miner onto the gems. Puts a sentry next to his tech. And has 4 miners over here, so 5 miners, and is on a deso as well. This is quite scary here. Not too much of an issue, but he's going to bring his miners over to come and defend and help him out here. Doesn't just want to overcommit. It's just one of the things. Just doesn't want to overkill. Could have maybe just come out there. Can he get round to this lab though? Still no gap. Go over the power. Still no gap. You can take the lab here on low power. Power does come back up now, it should do, and he loses his radar and his power. This is huge for Rick. War Factory as well, that's absolutely huge. You know, Rick's not going to win the game now, but he's put himself into an absolute massive position here. Absolutely huge. No, he's got to rebuild barracks, power, radar, and a battle lab. And on the back of this, Rick should be pushing the IC, and there we go. This map should be an RA2 curve. Yeah, it's a good map. I like this. It is a good map. The do for calling this is a good pick for Rick. 2 mags and a rhino coming out now to offensively. But drone should just take care of the mags, really. And the Deso as well. IC is on the field. War factory's back up. Barracks is up. Gat is out. What's it just... Oh my god. Surely doesn't lose your MCV, do you? Oh. Just thought for half a second that Rick was just going to blunder himself there. These man going to do absolute bits on this cliff though if he's not careful. Okay, now forces to come back. Lab is up. The lab is up. IC is now ready. And Rick just has to keep applying pressure. Just has to keep applying pressure. Nuclear missile on the field as well. Rick on 4.5k. There's going to be no force shield. He wants to dive, but Rick, Zedd wants to be careful here. He can just dive on this MCV. He can just dive on the MCV. IC and dive on the MCV just wants a couple of sentries. Needs to be careful of his own base though. Needs to be really careful of his own base. Doesn't want to lose his MCV cheaply as well. Power plant. I mean, he could just go for the MCV. The grinder now comes out to be fair. He's going to lose the MCV as predicted. Can't lose the IC though. I don't know what he's going all in here. He's going to lose a nuke and the IC if he's not careful. He's going to lose everything in his base. Coming back now to defend. Didn't really get anything in his opponent's base. If he loses the IC, he loses. Force shield comes out and he should be able to get back in time, but I'm not sure what happened there with Rick, losing his MCV, the nuke, and his mags are juggling like crazy. He does continue in this game. I was half expecting to see like a server detail or something, maybe like... Interesting that Zedd will be really pleased. This Deso doing absolute work. You see them just on the miners, but we saw those Connies 14 minutes ago. So next IC should be pretty good. I'd like to see maybe just one drone in with these rhinos, and that would probably just take care of both the masterminds. And I'll chat. Whose position would you be in now? AFK miner. Rick's just not going to be able to spend his money, and Zedd can just take his time here and just keep building up. Rick twice, I think, is going to throw this. He's going to push down the bottom right side. Pushes in. Needs to push in. Does he go for the MCV? Is there a force shield? He's got to dive on the war factory. Got to dive on the war factory, hasn't he? War factory. Got to get the war factory. Get the war factory. Just stay there. Just kill the war factory. Even if you lose everything. Power plant. I think he just killed the war factory. He's just going to rebuild his MCV. This happened on the other map, on 2-back. He's just going to rebuild the MCV now. The same thing happened on 2-pack. Yeah, just rebuild the MCV. I think he's... I'm not saying he could completely die because of obviously the grinder's right there, but... Oh, I don't know. Force shields come out. Needs to be careful here. There's a lot of rhinos. I think we could drive in there. Oh, the brute... The brutes come out, that was quite big. Yuri Prime. Can the Yuri Prime reach that and then just stay in the water? Although the eye going losing that is not the worst, I don't think, because he has the nuclear reactor. Another MCV comes out as predicted. The IC is ready. And the drone doing a little bit of work, and the Connie's coming up on the top side now. Does get an elite as well, which is really going to help him. Connies are coming. There we go. Psychic tower. And there we go. And there we go. Connie's coming up on the top side. Connie's coming up on the top side. I was so enjoying that game. I just went quiet there for a very brief second. I'm not sure if let's see what Rick does. Rick was trash talked once by Zedd. Only really the one comment sort of thing. Rick just quits. He takes his win and then he goes. Zedd loses. 6 games to 5. 6 games to 5. And Rick beats Zedd in a show match that would probably favour Zedd. Rick wins 6 games to 5. I think I thought for a second Rick was going to throw that. Berg, very similar games we had on 2 back just there on Stardust, but Rick in the end takes it.